All right, let's talk about something that gives a lot of software teams nightmares: deployment. That whole process of getting your new code out to the world. We're going to map out the journey from what is often a chaotic, super stressful manual process to a streamlined, automated pipeline that lets you ship new stuff with total confidence. So, if you've ever felt that pit in your stomach right before a release, yeah, this one's for you.
I mean, does this question even need to be asked? That feeling of pushing new code live, crossing your fingers, just praying nothing breaks. Especially when it's like 4 o'clock on a Friday afternoon. We've all been there. And that exact pain point is what we're here to solve today. So here's the game plan. First, we're going to dive deep into what I call the manual deployment nightmare. Then, we'll talk about the first step to fixing it: continuous integration, or CI. After that, we'll see how to automate the whole flow with continuous delivery, or CD. We'll even cover how to go live with confidence using some really smart strategies. And finally, we'll wrap up with the massive payoff you get from all this. Okay, so picture this. Your team just spent weeks, maybe months, pouring everything they've got into a brand new application. It works on their machines, everyone's excited, and now it's time to deploy. This is where the manual nightmare begins. Yeah, this quote just nails the feeling, doesn't it? It's one thing to push code to a test server that nobody sees, but pushing to production, where real customers are going to use it, the anxiety just skyrockets. Every single manual click is a chance for something to go horribly, horribly wrong. And this is what that mess looks like in practice. It's just a series of bottlenecks. You've got developers wasting hours trying to untangle these giant merge conflicts. Then everything grinds to a halt with a code freeze, so people can frantically click around and test everything by hand. And then it all comes down to one senior engineer, the only person who knows the magic incantations, to manually push it all live. It's a total recipe for disaster. So let's just call it what it is. The old way is fundamentally broken. It's slow, it's practically begging for human error, and it creates this massive dependency on just one or two people. And this doesn't just create stress, it absolutely cripples your ability to get new features out to your users. So how do we start to dig ourselves out of this hole? Well, the first step is to attack the chaos right at the source, at the very beginning of the process. And that's where continuous integration comes into the picture. Continuous integration, we'll just call it CI, is actually a pretty simple idea, but it's incredibly powerful. Instead of everyone waiting until the end to merge these huge, complicated pieces of code, developers merge small changes all the time, like multiple times a day. And every single time they do that, a bunch of automated tests kick off and run immediately. This right here, this is a total game changer. It's a fundamental shift in how you think. Why would you wait until everything's mushed together to find out if something's broken? With CI, you're testing every little piece as you go. You're basically shrinking the feedback loop from days or weeks down to just a few minutes. And the impact? Oh, it's huge, and it's immediate. Bugs get caught right away when they're still tiny and the developer who wrote it has all the context fresh in their mind. And those monster merge conflicts we talked about, they basically become a thing of the past. The end result is happier developers, way higher quality code, and a whole lot less stress.
Okay, that's a huge win. We've stabilized how we integrate our code, but we're still left with that manual, terrifying deployment process. So the next logical step is to automate that whole flow. And that's where continuous delivery comes in.
Continuous delivery, or CD, basically takes the code that passed all of our CI checks and automatically gets it ready for release. The magic word here, you guessed it, is automation. We're taking all of those manual steps, building the code, packaging it up, getting it ready to go, and turning them into a predictable, repeatable, totally automated pipeline.
Just look at how smooth this is. Once the code is merged, the pipeline just takes over. It automatically builds a nice self-contained package, usually a Docker container. It tags it with a version number and pushes it to a central place. Then it automatically deploys that new version to a staging environment for more testing. Nobody has to manually log into a server and type commands. It just happens.
And you might be asking, wait, what about all that frantic manual testing we used to do? Well, we replaced that too. The pipeline runs a whole new set of automated tests that act like a real user, clicking through the app in a real environment. This gives us a much, much higher level of confidence that the whole system is working together, not just the little pieces. So our code is now automatically built, it's tested, and it's sitting there in a staging environment all ready to go. But that final step, deploying to actual users, is still the scariest part. So how do we push that button with total confidence?
This is the dream for a lot of teams. Continuous deployment. It's basically taking continuous delivery to its ultimate conclusion. Every single change that passes all the automated checks gets deployed to production, automatically. Now, a lot of times there's still a single manual approve button for a product manager or someone to click, but the entire technical part of the release, fully automated. But even with all this automation, you still want a safety net, right? Of course you do. And that's where these brilliant deployment strategies come in. With a canary deployment, you release the new version to just a tiny slice of your users, maybe 1%. You watch it like a hawk. If everything looks good, you slowly roll it out to more and more people. With blue/green, you have two identical production environments. You deploy the new version to the green one, while everyone's still using the old blue one. Once you're sure it's perfect, you just flip a switch and all the traffic goes to green. If anything goes wrong, flip the switch back. Instant rollback.
So, we've come a long way, haven't we? From complete manual chaos to a beautifully automated system. Let's take a step back now and really look at the incredible transformation and the payoff you get from doing all of this. I mean, just look at this contrast. It's night and day. We've gone from error-prone manual releases to a reliable automated pipeline. Those painful code freezes are gone, replaced by a continuous flow of development. Deployment anxiety turns into high-confidence releases, and the whole process is no longer dependent on that one engineer. It's owned and understood by the entire team. So if you're going to remember anything, remember this. CI/CD isn't just about cool tools. It's about changing how your team works for the better. You eliminate all that tedious manual work. You get to release new stuff way faster and more often. And you dramatically lower the risk of things breaking in production. And maybe most importantly, you free up your developers to do what they're actually good at, building awesome features. And that really brings us to the final thought. Once you have this beautifully efficient machine running, once releases are no longer a source of fear but just a routine, predictable event, what happens then? What new innovations, what amazing features, what incredible value will your team create with all of that time and mental energy they just got back? That right there is the true promise of CI/CD.